I'm joined by Nathan Corden, following what's been quite a busy weekend at Towcester. I guess the highlight being the Property 192 Graders Derby. Dean Ridge-Awesome, in the end, proved to be a little bit, a class above the rest of the field, Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, he ran well. He certainly loves Towcester, and I think Alison and Ray have sort of made it very public that the dog had fallen sort of down the grades at Crayford there, and sort of got a bit in between which distances he was going to go at Crayford. So Alison saw the competition and thought, well, we'll give it a go, and famous last words as such. And you're pleased for Ray. He's put a lot of money into the game over God knows how many years. So it was nice to see him collect the 10,000 first prize.
And have you spoken to Colin Davey? I mean, will it be done again, or were there any thoughts after?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Colin was there on the day. He enjoyed an afternoon in one of the VIP boxes there. He had a great time, and we said we would sit down in early November and talk about next year. Colin's got a wish. He wants to make it £50,000 to the winner next year. So, and we want to try and support that as best we can, because it's a great sort of shot in the arm for graded racing.
I think so. I mean, personally, I've got some reservations about it. I think it's fabulous that what Colin is doing. Whether it is designed as well as it could be, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think Colin and I we spoke on Sunday, and that's why he wants to sit down with us in November, and we'll involve James Chalkley. We'll get an idea of like Colin's utopia, what he wants to get out of it, and then we'll sit down and look at how we can get there, and try and put on the best competition possible for him.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it seems to me that it kind of goes against the ethos of what greyhound racing is about, in that it puts too much power into the hands of people like graders. And I don't know. I mean, why not an A1 competition with the idea being that the dogs would have to genuinely have been A1. In other words, maybe have run 6 A1 races in the previous, 3 months or whatever the case may be. If not, it just, something doesn't ring right about it. We may end up in the future, I guess, having dogs with a little bit like Dean Ridge-Awesome, who was really, I mean, he was an ex-A1 dog. He's won an Open at Romford. And I wouldn't have thought it's kind of the dog who slips through the loophole the easiest should end up winning a competition like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what we said. Colin and ourselves will sit down and look at how we can make it the best possible competition for next year. Okay,
you were also very busy yourself with the sale, and I gather I think there was quite a sad sort of backstory to what happened, wasn't there?
Yeah, and we had 49 lots entered, and we didn't get 9. I got the sad news the day before that Peter Cronin's father, Michael, had sadly passed away. So we immediately just said, like, don't travel, Peter. So that's why we had a few not there on Saturday. So I think myself have known Peter a long time. So on behalf of myself and James and everybody associated with Greyhound Trader, we send our sincerest condolences to Peter and the family.
Yes, of course. And Michael being obviously a legend in his own right in the greyhound industry. Very sad. Top Lot, Foxwood Hondo. Again, he's got an unusual story as to how he became Top Lot.
Yeah, well, he was in with Cougar's Hero. Cougar's Hero jumped the inside rail just coming out of the second bend. Was a bit hesitant what to do. By this time, Foxwood Hondo was between the third and the fourth, and then he started to make a dash over to his trial comrade, and would have joined him around the 500-meter trap. So we had to stop the hare in the interest of safety. But it looked like he was going really, really well. So I think a lot of people who were there saw that, and that's why he ended up being the top lot on the day.
As for the sale itself, How did the figures work out?
Yeah, we there was a few unsold this time around, but the ones that were sold, we had a higher average. Um, I'm we've had a good chat about things this end. We've also chatted to some of the vendors as well. We're not 100% sure the Saturday works as a sales day. So I think moving forward, we will look to keep it to the midweek where we can. So our next one is at Henlow on Wednesday, November the 3rd. We do have one at Hove at the end of November on a Sunday. We'll test the Sunday out. I think Hove traditionally have done their sales on a Sunday, so that might absolutely be fine. But I think for 2022, we'll be avoiding Saturdays.
And presumably you're sort of gaining experience with every sale as to what it is that the customer wants and the kind of dogs that the vendors can provide. Have you learned anything else from the most recent one?
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, the Saturday, we planned it for this Saturday. It was international break. So I know for one, I wasn't going to be missing Forest. So that was a plus for me. Now that we started playing a bit better, I'm quite enjoying going. But, you know, yeah, I think it's important that we don't go, you know, too heavy with how many lots we have. Yeah, I think there is a limit on the number of lots we can have. You know, and it is all about demand and supply, and you know, we just want to give as good a product as possible to the general public, both online and on course. So, you know, yeah, there's lots of little bits that we learn from every sale. So, you know, that was only our 5th sale. So, you know, we're delighted with how it's going. We think, you know, it's been a huge success. I genuinely didn't think we would have done this well so quickly. I thought it would take a year or so to establish ourselves, but yeah, you know, we'll improve it every time, hopefully.
Okay, now tying in last Sunday with this forthcoming Sunday, there were also heats of the first container marathon and also the puppy event for the British Breds.
Yeah.
Starting with the marathon, the race that everybody couldn't wait to see. I think generally feel that it lived entirely up to expectations, didn't it?
Absolutely. You know, it was an absolute cracking race, and you know, next Sunday, you know, you've got Savannah Volcano in one, you got the others drawn in another one. You know, just imagine what that final could be like if those 3 get through, and you know, and the other top 3 in the other semi-finals. That will be marathon race of the decade. I would imagine it's just been a brilliant competition, and you know, it's nice to see so many competitors on the marathon circuit at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, these things, they don't happen very often, do they? Quite often you'll get one dominate, and at that stage, something like Roxanne Magic, there was nothing really to come close to her.
Yeah.
We've got a situation now that they can beat each other, can't they?
Well, they can, and you know, we might get a different result in the semi-finals. You know, it might be a different trio. So you know, you do the trio always, and you should be all right there. But you know, you think about it as well. I mean, if we can try and at some point try and keep all these marathon runners on the go for next year as well, add in Dana Point from Ireland, and I'm sure there'll be another couple of more surfacing, you know, on the marathon scene in the near future. I mean, you just start to think the TV trophy for next year and our marathon competitions, how good they could be.
Yeah, and of course it does give you some encouragement to put them on, doesn't it? If you know there's a nucleus of these good hounds around, you can justify saying let's go and find 5 or 10 grand because we know we will get them. We're not just wasting our time.
Yeah, I mean, we advertised the competition as a 24 dog competition, you know, and I think we sort of knew that might be a little bit of a stretch, but we always knew if we got 18, we can have that fall back into 3 heats with the first 4 qualify. You know, and surely in marathon racing, you know, you've got enough time on the track to, if you get a little bit of trouble, to get back into the position probably where your greyhound should be. But it was nice to have that first 4 qualifying to begin with. and then we go into the 2 semi-finals with the first 3 into the final on the 24th of October.
And of course, then moving on to the puppy race, and Kevin Hutton showing off. Three through to the final. I mean, it's absolutely thrilling. I mean, I know I've spoken to Kevin. I know how passionate he is about his breeding as much as his reining. In fact, possibly even more so. Sleek by design. Obviously, the of the forefront of the 3. He mentioned her a little while ago on how much he thought of her. This isn't sort of making up with some very average puppies, a sort of a low grade British bred event, is it? This is a quality event.
100%. You know, I mean, I've many a conversation with Kevin about breeding, and you know, our thoughts on, you know, where a bit should go to, etc. And you know, obviously he's got Dorota's Wildcat over there with the Dumfries, but the Magical Bale, which was his, Forest Natalie, you know, she was sister to Wildcat. You know, dreams come true for him, and she keeps throwing every time. So you know, you have a quality bitch, you know, and you do the rearing right, which obviously both, you know, Silent Denver and Sleep by Design has been reared properly. That's what you get. You get decent greyhounds.
Very much so. So we're looking forward to a good final. And have you got a selection for it?
I think on Sunday's performance, you know, Sleep by Design, I think would be the obvious favourite, and showed great early and stayed on strongly. So, you know, I really can't see past that.